Good afternoon, Thrivers. Here at 4:30. This seemed to be a good time last week, and we were at Commissioner's Court today doing civic stuff, and so this fit right in the pattern. And so we hope that there are those of you who are here and will be here. Hey, Miss Lucy, good to have you here. And as you come in, those of you who are already in, why don't you say hello so that I can know that you are here and be blessed by your presence as we share on today about what it means to value your value. I don't want people to think that everything that we talk about is so me oriented, but one of the things that I find that being a follower of Christ, being a person of faith, whichever way that hits you, one of the things that we're taught to do is to be humble, to operate in humility. But I'm often afraid that our humility goes too far and it crosses the line from humility to self-deprecation, that it crosses that line to seeing ourselves as less than or not important enough, so that we end up living for everyone else and then wonder why we feel depleted. Hey, Bert. Hey, Margot. How are you? Oh, wonderful. Good to have you here, Margot Dickerson. So listen. I don't want us to be caught in that space where we mistake humility and humbleness for denial of self. In that regard, we don't want to be in a place where we aren't loving ourselves and caring for ourselves and valuing ourselves, because the truth of the matter is no one can value who you are in God the way you can value you. And far too often we're looking for external sources to value us, while we have neglected valuing ourselves on the inside, valuing how we are fearfully and wonderfully made, valuing what God has placed in the earthen vessel, that treasure that's within us, valuing the scope of gifts and graces and abilities and creativity that God has placed in us uniquely alone. No one is the same. So when we deny ourselves of the value of us, we also deny the Creator of being able to show off his masterpiece. We are masterpieces. And so we've got to remember that no matter how the world shapes us, no matter how the world says we ought to be cookie cutter looking a particular way. I was watching the Met Gala last night, and I was watching how very avant-garde everybody was, how everyone took whatever look they were going to be to the farthest extreme. And while for many of us that's saying, well, that's a bit much, I don't think God designed that for us. I agree with you on some level, but the truth is that who we are uniquely is going to always make someone else uncomfortable, because people feel comfortable when we fit into a particular box, a particular pattern, when we fit in a way that they can explain us or explain us away and dismiss us as being common and ordinary, when God has created each of us to be extraordinary. So my encouragement to us today is to value our value. When we do not value who we are, we say to the Creator, you didn't create anything worth having. You didn't create anything worth cultivating. You didn't create anything worth growing and nurturing. That this is just something that you did, and like on that anvil, we talk about in the potters, and when the potter was not pleased with it, the potter marred it and started to remake it. We are always going to be on the anvil, on the potter's wheel, but whatever it is that God creates us to be is a masterpiece. It is worthy. It is value. That's right, Pastor Battle. God don't make no junk. Never has, never will. Hey, Dr. Holly. Hey, Darlene. So listen, my encouragement for us today is that when we start to value everything else around us, you get a home and you value that home, and then that home is able to make money for you, in that you can get an equity loan on that home because of the value of the home. But with a car, the moment you ride it out of the dealership, the depreciation begins. We've got to stop seeing ourselves as depreciated and start seeing ourselves as equity. We've got equity in living and in life and in giving and in sharing and in being, because God has placed it in us. And the longer that we live in it, the more that we have paid, quote unquote, on it, the more worthy it is, the more it's worth. And so we can't allow ourselves to function as depreciated. Hey, Cousin Alma, we can't afford to do that, because when we start to see ourselves as depreciated, we begin to devalue our value. And when we devalue our value, we'll allow others around us to devalue us. And when we allow others to devalue us and we don't value ourselves, we wake up and we look in the mirror and we do not recognize who it is, because we have allowed life and life circumstances and people and their circumstances to diminish us to a place where we are depreciated. And God is not calling us to a depreciated value. We are worthy only because of Christ, only because of what God has placed in us, yes. But we don't lose the value because of what others think or what goes on in the world. We are valuable. We are, I remember Donnie McClurkin, we're a promise. We are a possibility. And we're all of those things until we become all the things that God has created us to be. We've got to live our lives in a way where we understand that our faith walk is inclusive of seeing ourselves as the best we can be, of seeing ourselves as valuable, valuable to the point of preciousness. There's all of these Bible verses that talk about how precious we are to God in life, yes, but also in death. So we're precious from the beginning all the way into the end. And how dare we treat God's preciousness as if it has no value? We are not semi-precious, we're precious. We are jewels. We are jewels. We are all that God created us to be. We got to walk in it. We got to live in it. We got to believe it. We got to strive for it. We got to wake ourselves up when we fall off and we start thinking of ourselves as not being good enough. We got to do that slap that Cher does in Mask and snap out of it. Because we've been created in the very image of God. And God is not to be devalued. And so the God in us is where our value begins, but then God begins to cultivate us, to grow us up, to shape us into what God would have us to be. And our value doesn't depreciate, it grows. We're living in a time where folks are looking at 401ks and looking at everything that they have saved up, invested in, and are looking at that depreciation, looking at loss, looking at what it counted for, or the value of it 2 months ago and where it is today, and in alarm about what it is that we're going to do as we continue to see the depreciation because of the craziness that's going on around us. However, one thing we cannot devalue is us. Because the same one who created us and made us who we are, keeps giving us value. And because we keep getting value from the one who created us, it doesn't matter what goes on in this world. Not that it doesn't hurt, not that we aren't struggling. Good to see you, Angel. I know that you are pushing through to make it with what is all that has happened in your life. But listen, they may have devalued your employment, but they cannot devalue you. And that's really what we're here to talk about today. That it may be persons all over the place who look at you and decide you're not worthy enough, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not the best preacher, you're not the best singer, you're not the best this, you're not the best that. Forget them. They don't matter. The only one who matters at the end of the day is the Creator, and the way God will speak to us to remind us who we are. That we are fearfully, we are wonderfully made. So you don't look like everybody else. And so you're not made up like the as Maya Angelou say, a fashion model says. So you are valuable. In fact, you're invaluable. There's no amount of price tag that can be put on the value that you are to you, to God, to the body of Christ. Because when you bring all that you have and all that is in you to use it to the glory of God, your value skyrockets in God's eyes. And that's the only audience that matters. So I'm going to get out your way today. I just wanted to say that to you. I want you to continue to value your value. Don't let anything, anyone, any situation, any mistake you've made, anything that is looking like it's not what you want it to be right now, don't let any of that make you devalue you. You are not depreciated. You are escrowed. You are continually having value. You are like a mansion that is continuing to add value and equity over time. And that equity is growing. So trust God and what God did in making you in God's image. Value your value and be encouraged. I love you all. Listen, thrivers, keep thriving, keep pressing through. Keep pressing through. And when that little voice inside of you says, I'm not much, maybe I'm not enough, maybe I'm not this, maybe I'm not that, you rebuke the demon and remind them, I am who God made me to be. And God did not, thank you, Reverend Battle, did not make any junk. Take care of yourselves. Love on you. Value your value. Be encouraged. See you soon.